Hello there, and welcome to the TTP Field Manual podcast. Throughout the month of December, we will be releasing a series of character dossiers for our Advent Calendar project that we call Final Days. This is one of them. These shorter episodes will be each spotlighting a very specific character from across the lore and the tabletop of Warhammer 40k. The episodes will be very casual, a bit of an overview of the characters' personalities, what they've done in the lore, and a little bit about what they do on the tabletop. We wanted to do this as a bit of an easy listening, casual love for the hobby, just to round out the year. We hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for listening, and happy holidays.
To follow any path other than the Tauvar is to doom us all. Only together, and with courage and discipline, shall we stand victorious. Fight with fire and courage, and nothing can stand against us. Welcome to another Final Days. With me is Joshy as usual. How you doing, boy?
Hey, mate. Good, mate. I'm excited to hear about the orcs today.
Well, speaking of orcs, I do have another quote for you, but I need your accent for it.
All right, you want to say it through to me?
I just did. It is in our little chat.
All right, you want me to do that now or later?
Nah, do it right now. Give us the second quote.
All right. They got dead big shooty guns that'll kill tons of boys, but if you can get near them, then you've got a chance. Just gotta make sure you bring loads of boys, cause you ain't gonna have a whole lot left when you get close enough to crump them.
We're talking about some Tau today.
How was that on the spot?
That was perfect. I love it.
Brilliant. Thank you. I'll be here for the rest of the episode.
And further on, I hope.
Yes. All right, Johnny, who are we doing?
Commander Shadowsun is the target of today.
I love him.
Her.
No.
Don't you go ruin it for me already, all right?
Sorry, you put me in orc brain. Apologize.
We're going to be talking about Kitten's waifu girlfriend.
That's right. All right, yep.
So, Commander Shas'O Shasherra Mien Shas'Era, also known as Commander Shadowsun, is the supreme commander of the Tau Empire. What a title, right?
Oh, she's supreme leader, is she?
She is the supreme commander.
Oh, right. I was gonna say.
More specific, she's in charge of the wars.
Yep.
She is a commander who was raised for peace, who became the Tau's deadliest weapon. A warrior who sees the Tau as a unified people, yet increasingly fights alone. A leader who has surpassed even the legends of her predecessors, and now defines the future direction of the entire Tau Empire. Pretty full-on sort of character for someone that before this I had barely heard about, right?
It's pretty up there. That's true.
Commander Shadowsun was born on the Tau homeworld, known as Tau, specifically within the Tau Sept, the beating heart of the Empire. From the moment she could walk, it was clear she possessed a level of discipline and focus far beyond her peers. Unlike many Firecast youths who were aggressive, competitive, and eager for glory, Shadowsun was methodical and patient. She learned not just how to fight, but why battles were fought and when they should be avoided. This caught the attention of her mentors, who saw in her something rare for a fire warrior: strategic vision. She was admitted to the Firecast Academy at a young age, and there she excelled, especially in the arts of mobile warfare, where many Tau trainees were taught rigid doctrines. Shadowsun questioned everything. She adapted and experimented. She showed an instinct for reading the flow of battle and turning the enemy's strength against them. During her training, she encountered the figure who would define her early military philosophy, Commander Puretide, the greatest military mind the Tau had ever produced. Puretide trained only a handful of pupils personally. Farsight was one of them. Shadowsun was another. And although their paths would diverge dramatically, Shadowsun absorbed Puretide's teaching with extraordinary precision. Puretide saw her potential and wrote in his personal assessments that Shas'O Shasherra showed a talent for coordinated warfare that borders on intuition. By the time she graduated, she wasn't just an exceptional student, but a prodigy, and the Ethereal Council had their eye on her.
So she's very smart. She's the prodigal person to do war.
She is the best of the best, following the best of the best, you know? But to understand Shadowsun, we must understand Puretide's legacy. Puretide trained two very different successors. Commander Farsight, who embodies aggressiveness, close-quarter warfare, decisive strikes, and independence, whereas Shadowsun mastered the patient maneuvering, synergy, overwhelming range force, and obedience to the Ethereal Council. They were twin reflections of Puretide's genius. Farsight believed war was won by bold actions, while Shadowsun believed war was won by unity, coordination, and adaptability. When Puretide died, his mind was preserved across multiple command drones so that his knowledge could guide future commanders, and both Farsight and Shadowsun studied these drones. But the difference was in interpretation. Farsight broke away from Tau doctrine, and eventually from the Empire itself. Shadowsun became the Ethereal's preferred successor. Farsight pursued independence, while Shadowsun embraced duty, and this shaped her entire life. While Farsight would eventually become an exile, Shadowsun would become the most loyal and capable servant of the Ethereal Council ever produced. She was the ultimate soldier for the Tau. So, what do you think? Initial impressions around Shadowsun and this character that has a model, technically? Like, it's a pretty good model too.
Sure does. I think in the tapestry of 40k, you'll find a lot of characters who fill out a similar niche for their respective factions. But considering how almost wuxia and meditative the Tau are, I imagine there will be a lot of tactical IQ 500 movers in this episode.
Oh, a really neat way of thinking about it, especially when you compare, these two major epic heroes that this faction have. Is Farsight embodies that Kauyon style where it's all quick and fast, whereas you've got Shadowsun who kind of fills the opposite role, the patient hunter, the coordinated strikes. And it's kind of cool that this faction has like an epic hero that sits in either version of what has become their detachments.
That is true. They have the Kauyon and the Mondkar,
Yep.
But they both can go into
either. So back to some lore for you. Shadowsun was quickly appointed to lead several major expansions of the Tau Empire. These weren't minor campaigns, but foundational to the Tau becoming a major power. She reinvented tower warfare around multi-layered battlesuit forces, drone networks, and coordinated fire strategies. And under her command, even simple fire warriors fought like pieces of a larger machine, a perfectly functioning military organism. She emphasized mobility over static gun lines, precision over brute force, and synergy over individual heroics. Her early victories were so impressive that the Ethereal Council elevated her to the role of Supreme Commander of the Tau Third Sphere expansion. This was unprecedented. She was still young by Firecast standards, and many felt she lacked experience. But boy oh boy did she prove them wrong. The Third Sphere was one of the most rapid expansions in Tau history. Entire star systems were annexed through the combination of diplomacy, overwhelming technological might, and Shadowsun's surgical military campaigns. If the Tau Empire had a golden age of growth, Shadowsun was its architect. And that golden age would not last. Something terrible was coming.
Did they get whammicled?
They got whammicled. At the height of her success, Shadowsun faced something utterly new to the Tau. Do you have any ideas what it might have been that could completely change the way the Tau looked at everything?
Or I do know that they fought lots of people for the first time, such as Tyranids and eventually Death Guard, but I think for this particular moment in time, they got whammicled by a couple of the Beaky boys.
No, you were actually pretty close in what you said, as this was when they first fought the Nids.
Oh, this is the Nids conflict.
Yep.
Okay.
The Tyranid invasion is what we're going to be talking about.
And they fought the big ones, right? They fought the Behemoth boys.
They did fight the Behemoth boys.
Have you seen the art, the old classic art of the Tau battle suits and ships, and they're going up against that humongous Trigon?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely glorious.
So that's what we're talking about, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The Tau Empire, young and still naive by galactic standards, had never encountered a hive fleet before. The Tyranids swept across their territories with terrifying efficiency. Shadowsun was forced into a series of brutal defensive campaigns. Her calm leadership kept the Tau from annihilation. Her use of mobile defense lines and harassment tactics slowed the Tyranids more effectively than anyone expected. But even she realized the truth. Against the Great Devourer, victory was not guaranteed. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Shadowsun expressed to her ethereal superiors the Tau were unprepared for what awaited them in the wider galaxy, and so after the third sphere, the ethereals made a decision. They ordered Shadowsun into cryostasis, stating that she would be awakened again only when the Empire needed her the most. Bit sus, if you ask me, that she started to talk about how they're not ready and they're not. This is a bad idea, and they just put her out of commission.
They put her in a cold star battle suit, Jonny.
And she obeyed without complaint.
I bet she really was thinking about using her jetpack and going somewhere else, though.
Mate, I don't think she thought about it for a second. This girl is heavily indoctrinated. She is brainwashed to obey the Empire.
Wow. And then her boyfriend's like, hey, over here. She's like, no. Or is that later?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
Shadowsun slept for centuries.
Centuries?
Yeah, for Tau, that's a long time, okay?
Oh, I know, like, F all about Tau. I'm genuinely learning here.
When she had awakened, the galaxy had changed. The Imperium was tearing itself apart. Demonic incursions were increasing. The warp storms had worsened. The Tau Empire had stagnated. And the Ethereals needed her more than ever. She awoke into a galaxy where the Tau's optimism was fading. Her first major campaign after awakening was the Fourth Sphere expansion. In other words, they hadn't expanded at all, which involved experimental warp technology. The entire expansion force vanished, swallowed by the warp. And when fragments of the Fourth Sphere finally re-emerged, they were twisted by warp exposure, traumatized, and violent. They no longer trusted the Ethereals, and Shadowsun had to deal with the fallout. The galaxy she had been born into, one of hope and expansion, was gone. She was now in the era Indomitus, a time where even the idealist Tau must accept brutal compromises. Goes to sleep, wakes up, everything has gone to shit.
You know, at the start, when you were saying she was, like, designed to be a peacetime general and, like, the most studious of the teachings.
Yep.
I had, like, Bobby G flashbacks, but the flashbacks haven't stopped.
Yeah, right? It's almost like they reused the lore a little bit.
Yeah, so she's in the new place, the new times. What happens next?
Shadowsun now commands the Fifth Sphere expansion. Because, you know, the third one was so successful. Fourth one was an absolute shit show. Let's try again. But Shadowsun herself has changed. She's still loyal and brilliant and very disciplined, but now she is more cautious, more skeptical of the Ethereal Council, more aware of the galaxy's horrors, and more hardened by time and loss. Yet she still remains the best commander the Empire has. And her stealth battlesuit, her XV-22 stealth battlesuit with its hollow fields and multi-layered stealth tech, make her a master of misdirection and sudden assaults. She now focuses on guerrilla warfare and asymmetric engagements far more than she used to. Her campaigns are no longer about idealistic expansion, they are about survival in a hostile universe. And she has begun to quietly question the Ethereal's decisions. Not openly or rebelliously, but thoughtfully. She's seen too much to remain as naive as she was.
Yeah, that's fair.
One of the most interesting aspects of Shadowsun's story is her relationship with Commander Farsight. They represent two competing futures for the Tau. Farsight's future is one of independence, pragmatism, moral ambiguity, and separation from the ethereals, while Shadowsun's future is one of unity and duty to the greater good and obedience to centralized leadership. For years, Shadowsun viewed Farsight as a traitor, but as she's seen more of the galaxy's darkness, her feelings have become more complex. She no longer sees Farsight as simply misguided. She recognizes the truth of some of his warnings and realizes the galaxy is far worse than the ethereals led anyone to believe. There's now an unspoken understanding between the two. They respect each other. They both learned from the same master. They both want the Tau to survive. If the Tau Empire ever reunites or collapses, it will likely be because of a final confrontation or reconciliation between Shadowsun and Farsight.
There's a fun quote I'm looking at right now that's attributed to old Commander Farsight, which says, "United, our will is greater than any other force. We shall inherit the stars even if we must first cleanse them in blood." Now that's some foreshadowing.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Wonderful. So we're kind of waiting for her like next big moment, aren't we?
I mean, isn't that how we feel about everyone at the moment?
We're on the edge.
It feels like
Clock is ticking.
50 years of lore have led to a standoff. We're just waiting for the first person to make a move, right?
Well, the majority of 40k was in a perpetual window of time of a couple hundred years, and then you just pick a date at an event.
Yeah.
Whereas in like the last 10-ish years, IRL, they're like, you know what? Let's treat this almost like a comic book. You know, all these characters are always doing something, they're always overlapping, and things are moving forward. But even from like a modern lore perspective, currently the Arcs of Omen is at the end of the timeline, and that came out nearly 3 years ago. We're going to get 500 worlds next, but things move pretty slow.
Not only just that, but like even the Crusade supplements we've had recently with, you know, Armageddon, Brian Nexus, and all of that, they're all happening at the same time. They're kind of like, this is all the different conflicts that are going on currently, and they're just working their way through the universe. And now we're looking at like 500 worlds and what's happening there and who's involved there before what can only be some sort of like climactic event that has to bring everyone together.
I think they'll do 40k end times.
And then what? 41k?
Yeah. Warhammer 50,000.
No, but like that, there has to be some sort of big event coming in the near future, being, you know, anytime in who knows how long it takes them to write this stuff. But like there has to be a something this all leads to, correct? They can't just be like, we're pushing it forward, but just a little bit and then halting again.
Yeah, well, the last big bit of Tau lore that I recall was what Farsight got up to in
Arcs. Yep. So
right?
Maybe Shadowsun's next?
Maybe.
Because we don't know much else about Shadowsun. This is kind of where the lore stops. We're still waiting to find out what she is doing currently.
Yeah. Oh my god. You want to know what Farsight's full name is?
Oh, I have seen it. It's ridiculous. All of their big names are ridiculous.
Yeah. Shas'O Viola Shova Case Montier.
Yep.
Oh, is a fun. Another quote of Commander Farsight, directed at the Elemental Council. "I know the truth, falsest of the own. Sept society has become a sham, distorted around your own monstrous ambition. No, there can be no true commonality under your rule." Communality? Community?
Commonality?
Okay, whatever. "Under your rule, not whilst your edicts suffocate and stifle the rest of us." Go off, King.
Yeah. And another little short quote that is attributed to Shadowsun is simply we act as one and united we cannot fall.
I can tell you a little bit if you want where Farsight is at this point in time because of the Arcs of Omen, if you like.
Sure, we can have that connection and draw Farsight in a little bit more than I already did. What is Farsight currently up to in the world of Arcs of Omen, the 41st?
Yeah, so this is like as end of the thing as we get, unless his new novel by Phil Kelly is further along, but it's brand.
Yeah, yep.
So I don't know where it is. The Arcs of Omen definitely treated the Farsight as the sort of stopgap between all the Vashdor stuff and the Chaos stuff, and
Yep.
just needed a little breathing moment.
It really felt like that.
Yeah, the Arcs of Omen for Farsight. Now, Farsight Enclaves is like 1 to 2 like solar systems. Like they are basically rebel freedom fighters with like not many resources.
Yep.
But they're able to obviously be a menace. So the book is him fighting off a bunch of orcs. There's a orc war going on that he is trying to help deal with. Supposedly, this was all sort of pseudo-engineered around one of those Vashtor key fragments that are upon the world. And so it was sort of like a chaos organized trap as an Arc of Omen also arrives in system. And so the Enclaves managed to actually retreat and let the Orcs and Chaos sort of fight one another. But of course, the Tau began taking losses as well. One of the 8 was killed and a couple of more were badly injured. This is where it all kind of starts to come to a little bit of a head because Mr. Farsight starts to see little visions and have a bit of a voice in his head.
Oh, that's never good.
A little bit of a perversion of his thinking. Who would you guess is the influence knocking on the door of Farsight's head?
Is it Khorne? Because hasn't he got a demon weapon?
You are correct, Johnny.
Hey, I know my stuff.
So, for a brief moment, as it's all going pretty badly, and it also seems that this world is Khornate tainted in the first place. So, Farsight almost gives in to the fury of this whole situation because earlier on, he actually sends an SOS to the Ethereals, being like, look, I know we don't get along, but like, not just I need help, but this whole like Tau society that I'm protecting needs your help. I will do whatever you want if you come and save us. And Ornvar, the lead Ethereal, was like, nah, sorry, you're on your own with this one.
We can't afford to let any of our people come and help you. You're on your own.
Yeah, they're like, go with your fate, die with your own, you rebel scum. And just this like pure rejection of him just doing his best to protect his species and then being rejected. He's like, no, I will do whatever I can to protect them. These are my people. And just for a brief moment gives in to the fury of Khorne, and his battle suit becomes just infused momentarily with power, and like whether it was a vision or whether it was actually happening is a little like vague, but like his suit starts to get skulls upon it, and his suit was just this whirlwind of death and destruction throughout the battlefield. But it then really does seem to think that it was a thought, because as soon as Farsight realizes, he comes back to sanity and he manages to regain his composure. And then he's like, all right, no, this is a losing battle. Let's get out of here. But for a moment, he's seeing himself in a fight as this humongous battle suit, axe wielding, Khornate avatar of war, until he's like, oh no, that's not what I want at all.
That's not me.
And that was the Arcs of Omen Farsight in a nutshell. A bit of a potential trap of chaos to convert this little empire of the Tau. Maybe, maybe not, but that was actually all of it. was all of the Arcs of Omen Farsight.
That's all you get. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. So, yeah, he's probably having a bit of a crisis of faith.
Damn. All right. Well, I think we leave it there for that one. That's a little bit of what's gone on in the world of the Tau, focused around Shadowsun and a little bit of Farsight as well. We'll have to see what happens in the near to distant future regarding the Tau's 5th expansion.
Good luck, Tau.
Oh, this universe ain't made for you.
I'm really rooting for the Enclaves. We know this. I'm a big fan of the Rebel arc here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thanks, mate.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next one, eh?
Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more on the way, so stay tuned. If you can, it would mean a lot to us if you could share this with friends, people you know will probably enjoy the episodes that we're putting out. If you are enjoying the Field Manual podcast, if you've been really enjoying these episodes and want to share your thoughts with us, maybe have some ideas about what you'd like us to cover next, jump onto our Discord. There'll be a link in the bio of this episode. It's a fun little community we're hoping to grow, where people can come in, share their work in progress photos, have a chat about the hobbies, chat with us, we'll chat with you. We chat about our upcoming book clubs and things of that nature. Love to see you there. Thank you very much.